What's up? It's Chimera Ultima, and I was thinking the other day about the Cluckin Bell Farm raid, and I remember that there's a part of this raid where you use a crowbar to open up these crates and get the uh, chicken nuggets. So I thought it'd be a fun idea to only use the crowbar during the entire raid. Let's see how it turned out. So what you're gonna do for this first setup is hit the skip cutscene button because it just draws out for like 5 minutes. So this first setup is gonna have you take down this money laundering business, not for the greater good of the world, but for your own selfish purposes. It's very important to the— God damn! Anyways, the very big challenge of this obviously is only using the crowbar. I had to stock up on a lot of body armor and snacks because these guys were just relentless. Anyways, I made it inside the money laundering business, took out these last two guys, and then the third one came out of nowhere and killed me in one hit. So here's my second attempt. I drove up to these guys and then ran to the dot because I was like, I am not gonna fight these guys out here again and waste my time. I killed the two guys inside, and then I stole the laundered money. Get it? Because it's money laundry. Then I headed off to the next part of this setup. So I was gonna do the same thing and kill these guys and go inside the money laundering business, although I died, and then I had to start this entire thing from the beginning. And we're back. And so I decided to skip the whole fight and run inside the business. With this setup, I waited for this guy to reload, and then I decided to strike. I got him, then his friend, and then stole the money again, and that is the end of the first setup. For this next setup, you need to use a gun to destroy these drones. I tried with the crowbar, but it was absolutely impossible. Then you steal this hacking device from the terabyte. Then you go to the beach and steal the laptop off this guy, who's usually a one hit, but for some reason he decided, oh, I'm gonna be fucking Grandmaster Champion Street Fighter over here. He started beating me up, but you know what, I got him. So then you gotta take out a bunch of cartel members, steal a train key, and then rob the train. Unfortunately, I came across one of the biggest and scariest boss battles in the entire history of gaming. What the fuck? No! Which brings me to today's sponsor. Me! Hello! Subscribe.
This episode was brought to you by Chimera Ultima.
And now back to the video. I used my awesome crowbar skills to take out these cartel members. I used my car as armor here and there. But other than that, yeah, it was really difficult. I'm making it sound like it was easy. It was not easy. I died over and over and over again. But I ended up getting the train key, and then I died not once, but twice. But thankfully, the checkpoint was right here and despawned all of the cartel members, so all I had to do was drive the train from one end to another, and I ran into this guy who had the bright idea to park his fucking helicopter right in front of me. I don't know what he thought he was doing there, like, honestly. Then that was the second setup all done. Next up is the getaway car. All I had to do was beat this one guy up, open the garage door, steal the car, drive it back. That simple. This is where things got a little more difficult. Next, after the— oh my god, let me finish my fucking intro, what the hell? After stealing the car, you gotta steal some weapons and gear. These guys were absolutely relentless. I mean, I could not get anywhere near anything I needed to grab. However, I just parked in front of the weapons box and then stole it, got back into the car. It was that simple. For the gear, it's gonna be in the trunk of one of these three cars parked on the street. One thing I ended up learning is if you get far enough away from these enemies, they won't chase after you or anything like that. So I decided to just ram this car down to the very end of the street, check the trunk, and then if it wasn't in there, I would check the other two cars. But the gear ended up being in this first trunk that I checked, although for some reason, I had to open the trunk like inch by inch. I'm not sure what the hell the idea of the design was there. Very unfortunate. But once I collected the gear, I drove back to the lockup, dropped it off, and then that was another setup done. So for this next setup, you're gonna hack these cartel vans that will give you the location of their garage, and then either being stealthy or aggressive, you have to sabotage the cartel delivery trucks. Because I was using a crowbar only, I decided to be stealthy. These guys are perfectly spawned and placed for you to be able to do this stealthily, so it wasn't that hard necessarily. I had to grab this drill so that you can drill the lockboxes for the key cards. But in this room with the lockboxes, there are two enemies in there. It's kind of hard for you to take them both out without one getting alerted. so they'll be more aggressive to you when you're trying to exit their garage. On top of that, they will be expecting some sort of raid for the finale, so they're going to be more aggressive during the actual Cluckin Bell Raid. And with that, we've finally finished our setups, and it's time to do the finale. So the finale was the most difficult part of this challenge. If you couldn't already tell, we're about less than halfway through the video, and we're barely starting it. Up until this point, it was a lot of maybe shortcuts and little tricks for you to avoid having to fight a lot of enemies, but for this finale, it's kind of unavoidable. What you have to do is get through all of these people, and then you get to the chicken nugget crates. It's quite easy when you lock onto these guys and kill them in one hit. Unfortunately, when you miss, it opens up other problems, as in somebody else killing you while you're trying to finish an enemy off. And I'm opening up my weapon wheel a lot because you can instantly put on armor or eat snacks when you have the weapon wheel pulled up. So a lot of my footage is me running up to an enemy, whacking them in the face, and then pulling up my weapon wheel so that I can replenish my health. After this wave of enemies, you've got to go through this garage door, take more out. I tried hitting their bullets with my crowbar, as you can see, and then I tried attacking this fire extinguisher, and then I finally hit this guy in the head. Jesus, man, what was my aim? So in this next hallway, this was one that I got stuck in a lot just because there's a lot of places to take cover, not only for you but for the enemies, and there's about 4 or 5 of them at a time, and they'll always come up to you and just start shooting you in the face. So I had to take a lot of risks and just run up to these guys and try to get them before they got me. I ended up fighting my way through these guys, made it to the end of the hallway, and finally went inside one of these storage areas to collect the chicken nuggets. Once you enter this storage area, you take out this one guy, you collect the product. At this point, I was already out of armor and snacks, and so I had to play very, very smart. So by this point, I was already out of armor and snacks, and I had to play it safe, so I just had these guys come to my room, and then I started stacking up these bodies like I was goddamn Roman Reigns. Onto the second storage area, you swipe your key card, and when you're in this animation, you're invulnerable, and then once you exit, they start riddling you with bullets, so much so that they ended up killing me. So after all of that, I had to restart this entire beginning because I had not yet reached a damn checkpoint. I got a little frustrated, so I started throwing caution to the wind, and I just started beating on this guy because I was so angry. One thing I did differently in this run though is instead of fighting the rest of the guys in those little aisles, I just shot the door open and then I ran to this other part because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go through this fast as possible because I had no time to waste, and then I died again. Let's just fast forward. So I ended up getting the chicken nuggets again, and then I almost died, so I had to run for my safety. I ran back behind this wall, back in this second corridor, and then I just sat here killing these guys over and over and over again, similar to that first run. But then they got the best of me, and then I had to restart this again. Then I finally made it to the second storage area. There were only 2 enemies in here, so then I started to go around opening these crates, just like the beginning, like I said. And I stole these chicken nuggets, and that's when I realized that in my first room I did not take any of the product. All I did was kill the guys. What the hell? He's inside the vending machine! I stole the product from this room, and finally I had everything I needed. What the? He's trying to get him out! Yo, get him out of there, I'll help you! Yo, get your friend out of the vending machine! It turns out that whole vending machine fiasco was to distract me so that I can die again, and then I had to restart the heist again. Then I had to redo it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and then one last time. Then, after escaping my own personal hell, I made it farther than I had made it thus far. I had to break into the office and then spend the next 5 minutes finding these computer terminals, which I swear I had found all of them and it still wasn't letting me, but whatever, that's besides the point. Anyways, after finding out the safe code and fighting a bunch of these guys again, I made it back to the office, opened up the safe, stole whatever the heck it is I'm here to steal. I don't even care at this point. I ran outside straight to where the getaway vehicle was, and then I made it inside the car, and that was it. All that was left was this long ass drive, and then I finally completed it. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid heist, whatever it was at this point, using only the crowbar. Why did I do this? Because I hate myself. Anyways, thanks for watching. More videos coming soon. I've been Chimera. You have been awesome. I will see you guys in the next one. 500K! Damn!